Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of How Much Are You Like Your Myers-Briggs Personality Type? I'm your host, Anais Lucia, and I am with male ENFJ, Garry. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hi, good evening.
So yes, in case those of you watching, listening don't know, I'm trying to get 2 of each type on the show. That's 32 people. And Garry is I want to get a male and female of each one. So Garry is my male ENFJ. We had Seshi last week. So Seshi, Garry, maybe other names with end in Y. So Garry, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just read different, things, ENFJ things around the internet, and you're just gonna let me know if it applies to you or not.
Okay, let's
Right.
do it.
Okay. So here's an article called oh shoot, let me see. So ENFJ myths and stereotypes. So let's see. Which ones? Okay, this one is actually a bad one. I'm gonna skip. All right, this is a good one. Things you'll relate to if you're an ENFJ. Let me know if you relate to them. All right.
Okay.
Number 1, you find strangers telling you their life story. Is this true?
All the time.
Yes. Do
Yeah.
you do you start talking to them first, or they just you just give up this vibe of like, you can talk to me, bud?
Yeah, it's so random and weird because it could be like I might know someone or have met someone and then they start telling me. Otherwise, I'll be walking down the street and then some random person, not even like a homeless or anything like that, just come up to me and tell me everything. Like, okay, I didn't ask for any of this, but right on.
Okay. Oh, and for those of you listening, he's extroverted. I'm introvert, and we met at a concert. He approached me, classic, extrovert. I never would have approached you. So now we're friends. So there you go. See, it's all about, that's usually how introverts and extroverts become friends. It's because extroverts give us a chance. So thank you for giving me a chance.
It's been good.
Yes. In case you don't know, also we have done some episodes of my other podcast, Musecast. So check it out if you love Muse. All right, moving on. So another thing you can relate to if you're an ENFJ, you have an adventurous side. Do you feel like you have?
100%.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the craziest thing you've done?
I jumped off a 100-story building.
What, like bungee jumping? Yeah.
Yeah.
Paris, like with a parachute? Or
It was a bungee jump, yeah. And
in Vegas, or?
yeah, it wasn't at the Stratosphere. I saw it, I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And I just did it. No planning, no thinking.
Okay.
My friends thought I was crazy, and they're probably right, but
And like, spontaneous?
I'm sorry, you froze for like the last 7 seconds. Could you repeat that?
Do you consider yourself spontaneous?
To a degree. I love being spontaneous, but I mean, obviously, with some things in life, you have to have a plan going forward. But I do have a big spontaneous side.
Okay. So another thing you can relate to if you're an ENFJ, you're a feeler who knows how to think. So, basically, according to this, it says a feeling preference boils down to how we make decisions. When ENFJs make decisions, they consider the values and needs of people versus the use and function of things. Do you think that applies to you?
It does apply to me in a big way. I mean, of course, you have to use logic and reason, especially when making decisions. But I do have this gift. It's a gift, maybe, I don't know. But I can really feel a person, their vibe, their energy,
Mhm.
what they bring to the table that maybe they're not showing it right in the moment. But that expression, I have a good feeling about this or a bad feeling about this. I do use it in my life to make decisions.
Okay.
Served me well for the most part.
All right. Did you get any vibes from me at the concert?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Honestly, because when we met, we were standing at the rail in the front row, And I could tell that I don't want to use the wrong words, but you were just there by yourself, and I don't want to
Mhm.
bother anyone because like you're here for the show.
Mhm.
But I also felt like maybe you could use some company and some conversation, especially since we're seeing like our favorite band. That's why I reached out to you because I thought maybe you
Mm.
could use a friend for the next 2 hours.
Aw, well, I appreciate it. It did make the concert more enjoyable, like having someone to, share that
Share it
with.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we appreciate, extroverts to like reach out to us because we're too scared to do it. Sometimes like because yeah, sometimes I do want to be left alone, but like I mean, also you're not like a creep or anything like that. If you were like
You would have
horrible,
punched me.
I would have been like, get away from me. But
Yeah.
you were cool, and yeah, definitely. Because I've been to concerts by myself. I've done a lot of things by myself, going to movies, restaurants, and things like that. And once in a while, yeah, it's nice to like share that with someone, especially like yeah, Muse, front row, like yeah, it definitely helped make the experience a lot more enjoyable. So
I just want
thank
to add one
you.
more thing to that. That used to be me as well. Like when I was younger, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, during recess and lunch, I would just stand by myself. So when I grew out of my shell, being a student and everything, anytime I'd see someone like, let's say we're in the quad and someone's just standing there by the tree and you kind of notice they're always by themselves, I always made an effort to go out and talk to them or try to be their friend because I was that person. And
Hmm.
I know I really liked it when people would try to make an attempt with me. So that's kind of, I,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
And have you ever maybe done that and the person turned out to be like a little crazy or they misinterpreted something, you know?
Yeah, but I had to try at least. That was just
Okay.
something inside of me. But if they don't want to talk to people or whatever, I respect that. That's totally fine.
Mhm.
Just got to leave them alone.
Yeah. Did you like what made you what helped break you out of your shell a little bit?
So I'm an only child. So growing up, it was just me, no siblings, nothing. I did have some friends, but it's not like I was always around them. So being thrown into school with all these different screaming kids with nasties coming out of their nose. I'm like, ah. But I guess when I got used to being around the other kids, that kind of helped me break out of my shell. So just
Oh, okay.
rep- repetitive, I guess, practice.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. I guess I don't know. It's weird because I do have siblings and made me more introverted. Get away from me! I'm like it's too much, too many people. Oh, too many people all the time.
You're killing me right now.
Because I'm one of four, and people like it just people are different. Like some I know some people that come from huge families and they want to have a huge family. I want the opposite of what I had. Like four kids. No, I'm like two max. Like that's the most I want to have, two max. I hopefully, divorced parents. Hopefully, I'm not divorced. I just want the opposite of what I had. I don't want the same. What about you? Since you're an only child, would you want to have also an only child, or would you want like more a bigger family? I don't know.
I don't want a bigger family. I'm cool with one. Two would be cool too because I think about it and it did kind of suck like being even though I never felt lonely, I was alone technically, so I think maybe I'd like my kids to have a sibling. But yeah, two's pushing it. Yeah,
Mm, okay.
nothing more.
I was an only child for a bit because I was the oldest. So that's kind of how I think about it sometimes. I'm like, dang, I was an only child for 2 years, and then they had to have my sister.
They ruined everything. No, I'm kidding.
And yeah, my parents were like, "Oh, it's because we didn't want you to like, we wanted you to have someone to play with." But I'm like, I was fine alone.
Well,
I'm
my
so
mom would
mean.
ask me like, "Do you want a little brother or sister?" No.
Oh, they actually listen to you. They don't listen to me. So I mean, that's still true to this day. So
Aw.
yeah. All right. So another thing you might be able to relate to if you're an ENFJ, it can be hard for you to say yes to yourself.
Yeah.
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 Do you
I found
usually like
sorry, go ahead.
oh no, do you usually like kind of put the needs of others before yours or
yeah. I mean, take my dad for example. Like I had to move back home to take care of him. Anytime my other family members, because a lot of my family is older, there no matter what. If friends need anything, even if it's to my detriment, and it's something I should work on because I should learn how to say no more often to
Mhm.
certain things. Not that I don't like helping people, but it does come at a cost to me.
Yeah,
So it's something I definitely should be working on
definitely.
just to make my own life better and more peaceful.
Yes, I definitely recommend that people do that. Like people, people who give a lot, because that's something I've had to do as well. Like that's something I've been working on the last maybe like 2 years. Is even like little things like maybe just treating yourself to something, to eat or something like that. Or I kind of, because I know I've had a hard time like saying no. And I've one thing that kind of helps me with saying no is like, instead of thinking, oh, I'm saying no to someone, think I'm saying yes to myself. Because like sometimes I would just spread myself too thin, taking on too much, and then I don't have time because I'm doing things for other people, and then I don't have time to do what I want. And then, I get mad and blah, blah, blah. But then I just, try to have a balance of like, okay, just think, do I actually have time to do this? Do I want to do this, this thing to help someone? If I do, great. But also like try to make the stuff I want to do a priority too. So it's not always like, oh, I'm always putting it off. And because I've said no to like job offers and things like that, because I'm like, if I take this job, I'm not going to have time for my podcast. And I really want to keep doing that. So instead of thinking just like, oh, I'm saying no to a job, it's like, no, I'm saying yes to my podcast. That's what I'm doing. So that kind of helps.
That is such good
Um,
advice.
and another thing that kind of helps soften the blow of like saying no is I try to offer the person I'm saying no to like an alternative. Like, if they offer me a job and I don't want to do it, I'll be like, you know what, like, I'll tell them the reason. Oh, I just don't really have the time for it or whatever. But you know what? I know this other person who would be great for it. Cause then
Yeah,
it's like you're kind of helping them you're like saying no, but then you're helping them at the same time. So it's not complete like loss, and it's kind
sure.
of like win-win for everyone. So when you can, try to see if you can kind of turn it around, so it
Yeah.
makes it it makes it seem like you saying no is like actually a good thing for them. So I
Yeah,
know it
that's
can be
great.
hard.
I
Yeah.
gotta apply that in my life for sure.
All right, so another thing you can relate to if you're an ENFJ, you can quickly spot authenticity or phoniness. Is that true?
Yeah.
You can tell the fakers, the the what's it called?
The phony balonies.
Yeah, the phony balonies. There's another word. I can't. The tryhards. I don't
Oh yeah, yeah.
know. Yeah.
Living in Los Angeles my whole entire life, there's more fake than not. So
Yes. Yes.
the real people stand out for sure. Because you can kind of tell, like, because the tryhards can put on a good show, put on a good front, and you might think they're real. No, 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 no.
It's to me, it's so off-putting. Like it's like I'm pretty good at that too. It like it's just like I can just see it, and I'm like, just be genuine. It makes me so like want to be away from you. Like if you're just this fake person, and then see it a lot. Yeah, LA background acting. These like people like one of the things I hate that I hear in LA a lot is whenever somebody would be like, "Let's do lunch." I'm like, so
But
don't even
God,
say that, like, because it usually never happen. I'd be like, okay, I'll believe it when you actually make the plans for lunch. Like, don't ever tell me let's do lunch. Like, I hate it. That's kind of why I like, kind of like New Yorkers, like the East Coast. I've been to New York a few times and I love it just because people are more real. Like, if they don't like you, they're not gonna talk to you. Like, whereas in LA, they might still talk to you even if they don't like you. They'll be all fake, like, hey girl, what's up? I'm like, I know you don't like me. What are you talking to me? Like, just leave me alone. Like, I can see right through your fakeness. Like, oh.
now I know you're asking the questions, but I have to ask you a question. As you've gotten a little bit older, as time goes on, have you gotten better with that skill of spotting real people and fake people?
I mean, I think I've always been pretty good at it. Even like it's just something I've never liked. I think that's one reason maybe I wasn't, popular, or I didn't really hang out with the popular kids. Like I was that person. I remember in middle school there was a teacher, a popular teacher that everyone liked except me, because I was like, because I just got bad vibes from this guy, and I'm not saying that he was fake, but I just got bad vibes, and he was a creep because he actually, like, I was in his class. I was 11, and I'm like reading. We were having just like a reading time. He came up behind me. He started massaging my shoulders. An 11-year-old, and I was like,
No, 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 no.
and he was, and nobody, everyone thought it was crazy. Like they're like, oh, why did you like him? He's a cool teacher. I'm like, I just don't like him. Like I just don't like his vibe, and it's just, I, there was just something about him I just didn't like, and then that just confirmed it. And people, when I said that I didn't like him, people were like, "Oh, you're so mean," blah blah blah. And then when he did that, I'm like, "See, I'm right. He's a freaking creep." And then he ended up getting fired. So I'm like, "Who was right? Me?" Like, because I can feel vibes of
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
but then others think I'm crazy. But then I've been proven right about other people before. But it's just intuition. I think my intuition is pretty good.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. That's a big thing. And I think everything I've heard, women's intuition, it's a real thing. So that's something that maybe men don't have as much. That's why I think that's why I don't have the intuition like that. But with life experiences, I've been able to
Mm,
really get those tools on figuring out who's who.
okay. Do you feel like it's something that you have gotten better at, like, as time goes on? Yeah.
Yeah, especially when before, like, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I would give someone a chance just cause. But now, when I get that bad feeling, it's just no way. And then other people are like, oh, you're being mean. You gotta. I'm not
Mhm.
saying mean things, but you gotta give this person a shot. You don't even know them. And I'm like, I know them. And then 6 months later, you were right.
Yep.
Told you.
Yep.
You wasted 6 months of your life on this person, and you didn't have to.
That's how I feel too, especially like as I get older. It's like I don't have time to waste like
It's a finite
on
resource.
people that, like, I just don't get the good vibes from. It's like, no, I'm gonna spend it on the people that do give me the better vibes, and especially like, and with dating too. And I've gotten the same thing with dating where they're like, oh, just give them a chance. Like, I'm not gonna spend time going on a date, getting dressed up, it's time and money, like, to go with the guy that, like, I just don't feel anything good from. Like, maybe back when I was 20 and I had more time. Now I'm 35. Time is, clock is ticking. I don't have time to waste. If I don't have the good vibes, it's just, I don't
Yeah,
need you in my life, basically.
you could hang out with your dog. It's way better than that.
Yes. All right. So another thing you can relate to, if you're an ENFJ, when you have to give criticism, you analyze it to the point of exhaustion, because giving criticism can be extremely difficult for you, because you see so many different sides to everything, and you hate to make people feel bad, ashamed, or criticized. So you can get stuck in analysis mode long before and after the criticism was given and the other person has moved on with their life. So do you relate to that?
I would have completely up until recently. I don't know what's happened with me. Something changed, but when I'm criticizing, I like it for it to be constructive. I'm not being mean or trying to make anyone feel bad. But for instance, since I've been vaccinated and my family has too, we can see each other again. And my aunts are horrible cooks, just absolutely horrible. And they're always forcing me to like eat their cooking and stuff. And I'm like, no, no, please no. Why? You haven't tried it. Okay, I'll try it. And I'll just straight up tell them it's unseasoned, it's overcooked, or whatever. And they always find so many different ways to botch a meal. And I
Oh,
and I tell them in the nicest way possible, and like, hey, maybe you should try adding a little salt and pepper to something. Oh well, everyone has different tastes. I'm like, no, 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 no. These are just universal culinary standards. You have to season your food or whatever. That's just an example. And so,
mhm.
a lot of people can't take even just the tiniest thing, even though I was being polite about it. But as we were saying right before, we don't have so much time left, especially we wasted a whole year staying at home. If someone needs to hear something, they will be told.
Just be
Or
like, just
in the past, I'd be like, oh, I got to look at it from this angle and maybe soften the blow.
mm-hmm,
No, I just straight, not rude, in the
mm-hmm.
nicest way possible, but no more um, beating around the bush,
Yeah, just
as they
kind of
say in
more
this country.
concise, get to the point, and diplomatic about it.
Yeah,
Mhm. Okay.
yeah, but no more sleepless nights about certain things.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the good thing, yeah, about just getting older. It's like you just realize what's worth spending your time and energy on, and what's like other things you just let it go. It's like I don't it's not worth my breath, my energy thinking about it. So yeah, I tell people I have less F's to give. Like when I just
We're running
don't.
out of them.
Yes. Um so another thing you can relate to if you're an ENFJ, sometimes you feel like people don't know the real you. Do you
Yeah,
feel that?
yeah.
Yeah. Why do you feel like people don't know the real you?
My whole life, up until people do get to know me to a certain degree, like, oh, you're this mysterious guy. There's this mystique about you, or you look like an a-hole and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I have resting a-hole face. I don't know. But I hear these things. But then once you get to know you, you're like really nice and funny and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess they judge a book by its cover. So and for some reason people have, I don't know, set this thing up in their minds to where I'm something that I'm not. But then the opposite happens. So
Mhm.
I've been hearing that my whole life, even from my own family.
Oh, really? Wow. You like look tough, but you're actually. I mean,
I
not
don't
that you're
know.
weak or anything like that.
No, I'm saying no. I was laughing at. I don't think I look tough in any way, but
And maybe it's a bandana makes you look hanging tough. No, just kidding.
yeah. I could never figure that one out, but it's something I've heard a lot
Oh,
in
okay.
my life.
All right. So another article, see if you relate to this one. It's from thoughtcatalog.com. It's called Seven Things to Know About the ENFJ in Your Life. So let's learn about Garry and see if this is true for him. So number one, their personality lives for other people. So an ENFJ's world is formed by other people. Their entire life's motivation is made up externally of human situations and relationships. ENFJs constantly want to help other people be the best they can be to make things right in their worlds and to enable and empower them. ENFJs are great empathizers and they can easily understand other people's feelings, perspectives, and needs. And ENFJs feel that they are following their life's path when they're bringing out the best in others. True or false?
Especially the last one. The last one definitely rang true with me.
Oh, that's
Um, yeah,
definitely. I definitely would vouch. I feel for you being empathetic. It's definitely, that's true. So ENFJs are good to have as friends. One of the best people in your lives. So
we try.
another thing about to know about ENFJs, they are more reserved than other extroverts. ENFJs are quite simple, but still they're more reserved than the other normal extrovert people. Though they listen to everybody's feelings, love talks, pain, etc. But they generally don't express themselves in much in front of others. And if an ENFJ worries that their own self expression would stifle someone else's, they will step back to allow the other person to shine. And ENFJ's top priority is always to bring out the best in others, so they only show the parts of themselves that they feel will benefit that goal. Yes.
Lots of true stuff in there. Definitely at least applies in my life.
Oh, okay. Is it maybe that's why maybe you feel like people don't get to know the real you because you're maybe hiding yourself for other people or
Not even so much. I even though I enjoy talking to people and all that, I feel like I learn more and it's of more value to me to listen. I
Mm.
love listening to what other people have to say, even if it's a bunch of horse crap. What they're saying, it's like at least you learn something about horse crap. Um, so I just feel like I'm a sponge, and I just like to soak in and absorb a lot that I can. And of course, if there's someone around me, I want to bring out the best in them. So if that involves me, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that army song. Do you remember? I don't know if anyone remembers the army song, "Be all you can be."
Oh yeah, those commercials. Yeah.
Yeah. So ENFJs want to help you be all you can be. I'm old. I'm old. I think only yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you do remember the song, let me know in the comments, but probably no one under 30 remembers that.
Oh, I'm having flashbacks now. I feel like going down to the recruiter's office right now, and never mind.
Army, be all you can be. Okay, sorry. All right. So another thing to know about ENFJs, they sometimes feel alone even when surrounded by people. So this might sound quite unusual for an extrovert, but in the case of an ENFJ, they find sometimes. Oh my god, the writing here is kind of. Did they not check this? So they sometimes feel alone in the group of thousands of people or in a party or even surrounded by their friends. They get lost in their own thoughts, own world, own dreams. Someone wow, someone really should have revised like the writing
Oh
here is not
no,
good. I'm trying to do my best as I'm reading it.
you're
They
doing great.
they place so much of their energy and focus on other people that they might not understand themselves, and this is especially true for the ENFJs who hold back parts of themselves in order to protect others. And ENFJs who feel this way might go to extreme lengths to never be alone. So, how do you feel? Maybe.
Not so much in my life. Of course, there's been instances where I do feel alone, even around people. It's very few and far between. So
Okay.
that one, not so much in my life.
Okay. Number 4. Their people skills can be used for good or for evil. Ooh. So ENFJs have such amazing people skills that they can usually make people do anything they want them to do. So Jedi.
Oh, manipulation.
Since a majority of ENFJs are truly concerned with the welfare of others, it is rare that an ENFJ will use this ability for evil, but they do have this power and may exert more control over others than they realize. Wow. And ENFJs are
Oh.
amazing and charismatic, and they don't put much effort to change the decision of other people. And what the okay, the writing here is messed up. For example, if ENFJs want that opposite guy, they use like Google Translator. What the frick? Let me let me let me proofread this. So yeah, oh my gosh. Anyway, so what do you think? Did you know that you had such amazing people skills? Have you been told?
Not to the point of manipulation or Jedi tricks or whatever. Um, but yeah, definitely though the people skills are there for sure.
Do you feel like you're good at maybe like convincing people to do things that you want to do, or you don't really try to do that?
At the end of the day, if I want to do something or if I want to get something done, I don't need to depend on other people. I will do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do have a skill when it comes to I just maybe I'm better at explaining things than some people are. And I don't know if it's the gosh, is it manipulation? But I just explain things to the point where I help people see not my point of view, but like let's say like we're putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. I'll help them see like, oh, this is the right way of doing it. Let's do it this way. And there's really not so much of a struggle because again, if they don't want to help, then I'll just do it by myself. But it is a skill to have um, that helps me not get what I want, but we both get to the same goal. We get to the same destination on our journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I probably did a horrible job of explaining that just now as I'm saying I'm great at explaining things, but yeah.
No, that's good. That's good actually. So okay, another thing, hopefully this is more understandable, but Another things to know about ENFJs, their self-esteem takes more frequent hits than you would think. ENFJs get their sense of self-worth and self-esteem from an external source, other people. They feel productive when they're able to make everyone around them happy, and they feel fulfilled by their compassion and deep connections with other people. Although ENFJs have a great aptitude for influencing others, it's never possible to completely control other people, so this is an inherently fragile situation. And ENFJ's self confidence will be shaken when they're not able to help people or if their attempts at help are criticized and rejected.
Not so much in my life. No. I can see why, but no, because again, if I'm trying to help someone out, let's say, and they don't want it or whatever, I don't lose my sense of self-worth. I'm still who I am, and I'll just move on and try to help someone else, or just, I don't know, be by myself and keep doing what I'm doing. But I definitely have not. It's good to get compliments, and when people say, "Oh, you're doing great, thanks so much," whatever. Um, but if for some reason that's not the case, then no sweat off my back. As
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's good. That's probably more healthier way to do it than, depending on kind of relying
uh,
on other people for your like your self-esteem and stuff like, ooh.
also if my ego is, maybe I'm using the wrong terminology, but if my ego is that fragile where I lose my drive from other people's opinions or things that they may say to me, then I'm not being the best version of myself.
Mm,
And I can't really help people too if I'm getting my feelings hurt if someone says something to me. So it just bounces off me.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this kind of was mentioned in the other one, that you can ENFJs can overburden themselves with other people's problems. So ENFJ usually overburden themselves by other people's problems, anxiety, pain, etc. ENFJs will probably agree to help you even if they don't have the time or energy available. Many people will come to an ENFJ for help, assistance, advice, etc. And the ENFJ is always happy to help. Sometimes there will be too many requests, but ENFJs feel terrible when they have to turn someone away. So if you're an ENFJ, then you definitely have to understand how to how to stop overburdening yourself. So how do you feel? I
Yeah.
guess.
And
Kind of,
that's something I've learned in the last year or two as well. Um, as, as much as I want to help, I can't help everyone. It's impossible. So I just try my best with whatever I can, but I'm not going to stay up at night thinking about other people's problems. With that said, the individual problems in my life, I've been casting aside, but bigger societal problems, that's what keeps me up at night.
okay.
So in a way, maybe I've traded off what I'm burdening myself with.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely a lot going on. That's good though. Like we need people that like actually care, because I don't like when it's, people that only care about things that kind of directly affect them, and they
I
just
just think they
cannot.
lack empathy.
Yeah, like it's like I like sometimes people give me a hard time because like I'll see something, a sad story on the news, and I cry, and they're like, "Why are you crying? Like you don't even know them," and I'm like, I don't have to know them. That's sad. I'm thinking about their family, what they're going through, the life that was lost. Like, that's a lot. It's sad. Like, why do you have to make me feel bad for having empathy? Like, why is that a bad thing? I hate that. I'm just like, oh, you have a heart. That's horrible. We need more people with hearts. Okay. So,
I
shut
got
up.
into it recently with someone who was making fun of fans of DMX because I don't get why people are sad about him dying. And I don't know much about DMX, but I had to tell him, like, it's, you can't trample on people's feelings when they're going through something. Like, if you don't understand why people get sad when a celebrity dies, like, again, don't know much about DMX, but maybe DMX's music help his fans get through something, or it brings them good memories of certain points in their lives. And like, they will never get to see this guy in concert again and relive those memories. So for you to say that these people are wrong for feeling sad, I'm pointing a finger at them, and it's not the index, thumb, ring, or pinky.
Yes, good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, because I definitely.
Lack of empathy is just such a drain on our society, and it shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the world, if I think that would help so many problems if people were just empathetic. Like,
Because people don't like to think about problems unless it has affected them directly. Like take Sarah Palin recently. People should wear masks because I got COVID. You had to get COVID to say people should wear masks. Get out of here.
yeah, it's so annoying. Like, or they'll be against gay people, and their son is gay. And it's like, oh, now I love. I'm like, why does it have to happen to you for you to feel like, oh, it's so annoying. It's just
Yeah, yeah,
that's so. I don't know. It's just so. I don't even know. I can't even find the word for it. It's so backwards. I don't know if that's a word, but
definitely backwards.
it makes me want to slap them. Like, why? It's just basic. I don't know.
I'll slap them, but then I'll help them out after because I'm an NFJ.
Okay. And last thing to know about ENFJs is they can see right through you. So as ENFJs go through life, they get better at reading people. So they're very good at recognizing other people's motivations, desires, and emotions. Since their primary interest in life is to help people improve, it's a natural skill they develop over time. People who have an ENFJ in their life sometimes feel exposed because they feel like the person with the ENFJ personality sees right through them. So while this level of understanding can be great, can be a great help in developing new relationships, it can also be smothering once both people know each other well. So how do you feel about that? See right through people?
Well, it's kind of funny that this was the last question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because earlier on in our conversation, I said I've gotten better at it as I've gotten older. So it's kind of funny that, yeah, full circle. As far as the smothering thing goes, no. Again, and it's not even just the helping thing too. It's just I never ever want to be that person because I've been smothered in the past and it's suffocating. And then I end up resenting that person, even though they have the best intentions. And it just kind of messed up how it comes out like that. But I end up resenting that person for just being too much, too extra. So that's definitely, I've never been that way. But if I ever even take a step towards that direction, I have to be like, nope, this is too much. Step back.
Oh, well, that's good because I definitely have been smothered too. And it
Sucks.
stings when the person doesn't realize they're being smothering. It's like, it's horrible. So that's, that also contributes to me wanting to be alone because it's like, you're not letting me breathe. So now you're making me, it's like they're doing it because they want to be with you, but it's having the opposite effect because like the more you try to be with me and like control me, the less I'm going to want to be with you.
You kind of end up pushing that person away, huh?
Yep. It's like, when you get your cat, your dog, you're like squeezing them. They're like, oh my God. It's exactly the same thing. Like,
I will never apologize for smothering a dog though. Cause dogs, but humans. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I try to hold my doggy and I mean, we're kind of similar, but like he won't let me hold him for that long. He'll be like, after a while, like, okay, let me go. That's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, Gary, but you're actually rare. ENFJ is one of the less common types, especially among guys. Among men, ENFJ is the second rarest type. So
really?
Most rare is INFJ, and then second rare is ENFJ. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You might get some people sliding in your DMs. What's your Instagram? Some girls
just
be like,
don't smother me.
Yeah, they'll be like, I want an ENFJ guy. He's rare. Let's go. Because so ENFJs of the general population, it's 3%, and 3% women, 2% guys. So you're in 2%.
It's elite company.
Yeah. So some famous ENFJs are Oprah, Pope John Paul, Margaret Mead. I don't know who that is. Ralph Nader. Wait, Margaret. I feel like I have heard that name actually. Sorry. Dr. Phil. So Dr. Phil and Oprah.
I'm cool with Oprah, but I don't know about the rest of this list.
Well, Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a good one. Okay. Better.
All right. So we went through, the article. So now just a couple last questions I want to ask you. So,
sure.
when it comes to like dating, what are some things that you find attractive, like personality wise, in a person, that just something that makes you attracted to them, and then maybe something that's a turn off that you're like, oh, I would never date that person if they did that.
Number one thing that's attractive to me is empathy, because I think if someone has empathy, that just impacts their whole like soul and their being, and it branches out in all the different directions too. So if someone has empathy, chances are they have really good taste in music. They have good taste in films and culture, things like that, or they're just good people to begin with, and that's the most important thing to me. Something that's a turnoff, I guess the smothering thing. It's not too much, because let's say in the past where I've been with someone, I love talking to them, but I don't need to get like 10 phone calls in a day. That's too much.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, oh, they're checking up on me to see where I am. I don't feel that, especially if you're not guilty of anything. You have no reason to feel that. But it's like, I'm really glad you had a good lunch. Maybe you could tell me after you get home from work. You don't have to call me from lunch to tell me about your lunch or ask me how I'm doing, or,
Yeah.
when it's too much, it's too much.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh.
it does have the opposite effect. And maybe because I am an only child, maybe I'm just used to the whole solitary thing. So maybe these people who I say are smothering me are maybe not, but that's what it comes off to me. So yeah, empathy, number one, awesome quality. And then, yeah, just the clingy smother thing, not so much.
All right. Well, thank you, Garry, for coming on and exploring your ENFJness. Ladies, he's rare. He's a diamond in the rough, 2% of male population. So we have a special guest on here. Instagram. You might get some DMs.
And this has been awesome because I have not been able to see a therapist in over a year because of COVID. So this feels like a therapy session too. So thank you, Dr. Anais.
Aww, thanks. I'm glad I could help. That's awesome. I'm the new Dr. Phil, but like better.
With talent and intelligence, yeah.
But I don't have a degree, and well, I don't know.
I question if he does.
Okay.
He may have a piece of paper that says it, but I don't know.
I need the Southern accent. We gotta help. No, I'm not. I'm not even gonna try it.
I'm gonna take off my headphones if you do that again.
So, trivia. Okay, this is like a little thing I did. I actually dressed. I actually filmed a Dr. Phil spoof called Dr. Hill. Dr. Hill. I dressed up as him. I drew a mustache on myself, and I played. It was just me. So I played Dr. Hill, and then the guest. The guest was also me, but like I was actually playing an obsessed Muse fan. Applicable. I have the Muse shirt.
I can't see it.
And basically, Dr. Hill was like, trying to get me to stop being so obsessed with Muse. So and that's also another lost skit of mine. So it was a lost skit because it was actually on MySpace, and then MySpace decided one day to just delete all of our media without telling us, and I was like, oh, my Dr. Hill skit was on there. So I'm sad.
Dang.
But, yeah. Garry, do you want to shout out your Instagram for the ladies that want a rare ENFJ?
The Garry D33. That's my handle, as I've come to learn, because I'm still new to the social media thing. But yeah,
okay.
This has been amazing. I cannot wait to see what you have going on next. I've been having so much fun learning about all the different personality types. So thank you, and I can't wait for the next one.
And wait, I was gonna say, okay, one last question. Just I just want to get it out there. Okay, so do you have like a dream date? Like, what is a fun date idea for you for first date? What would you like to do?
Long walk on the beach. Go to the movie. No. This goes back to me being spontaneous. I've never thought about a dream date, but the dream date just ends up happening. Like I've had really good dates in the past. They've just kind of happened. I didn't have a plan in mind. Sometimes you just have to let the wind take you where it wants to take you, and amazing things can happen that way.
Ooh, okay. So I think with that, that's a good note to leave off on because now, ooh, let's, the ladies are gonna be like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen if he goes on a date with me. So again, thank you so much, Garry, for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been awesome.
And thank you to everyone who was watching and didn't comment. That's fine. But next time, can you please comment? That'd be great. If you're watching the replay, thank you. Please leave a comment,
We
like,
had the
and
introverts on this time
yeah,
watching.
yeah. Definitely lots of introverts are just watching, not going to comment. So, um, and make sure to follow him on Instagram. The link should be in the video description. And we'll see you guys next time on How Much Are You Like Your Myers-Briggs Personality Type. Bye bye. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.